Hey rockers, welcome to Indie Rockers Ball. If you're looking for a great show full of music news, lessons, and a live performance with each episode, then you're at the right place.
And if you're looking for a rock-themed ballroom dance that only plays weird indie music, this is definitely not the place for you.
Okay, but we still hope you stick around anyways, because today's show is one you don't want to miss out on. I'm Ian Zimmerman.
And I'm Liam Noble. Let's get this Rockers Ball rolling and start up the show.
You did not just say that. Great news, rockers. Frank Ocean is working on a new album, and this time he has the influences from techno and house music. He's back tinkering with some new sounds, and we're hoping to get to hear this album in the near future. Ocean has released few details about the upcoming project, but at least we know something's coming, right? His past records have been loosely typed as R&B, with pieces of pop, hip-hop, and avant-garde. However, he's revealed in an interview that his new record will be influenced by Detroit, Chicago, techno, house, and French electronic types of music. Frank has also disclosed that he wants to work with more people, saying, "I think for a while, I'd like to get away from work that's solitary by nature. I've never been in a band or had a songwriting partner or been with a group. So it's always been a lot of time on my own writing and doing the work. I like the parts of the process where I work with session musicians or with other record producers or featured artists and guest vocalists." Are you excited about the new possibility of a Frank Ocean album? Let us know on Twitter at IRBTV with the hashtag MusicNews.
When you first listen to Jessie Reyes' song Far Away, it may just seem to be a sentimental love story about being in a long-distance relationship. However, if you listen closely, you may hear that the lyrics allude to some sort of social and political tension. In the music video for Far Away, Reyes portrays this tension in the form of losing a loved one to deportation. We see flashbacks of an ICE raid and a scene where Reyes is inside of a jail cell with her partner. The video also includes footage of President Trump and the border wall separating the US and Mexico. The singer has recently set up a website that provides information on organizations that protect immigrants' rights. She states on this site, "This is love suspended in animation before it's tainted by reality, because eventually all hearts break again. But in this moment, neither of you are running from one another. It's only water and borders, and God keeps keeping you apart." This is pre-heartbreak, when both sets of lungs are still working, and when you miss them and they miss you back, and you feel each other even when you're far away. Make sure to check out Jessie Reyes' powerful new video and let us know what you think on Twitter at IRBTV with the hashtag MusicNews. Man, I really do enjoy the new song by Jessie Reyes. It's crazy too that the song may have some controversial hidden messages behind it.
Totally, and the fact that Frank Ocean is making a new album is pretty neat too. Hopefully it turns out to be a good one.
I do too. We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
You really need to stop.
Stop what? You gotta be more Pacific, bro.
I swear, the ocean puns.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, rockers, stay tuned because up next is a music lesson with Jed.
How's it going, rockers? Welcome back to another episode of Music Lesson. This week on Music Lesson, I'm going to be teaching you the Swiss Army Romance by Dashboard Confessional. So you're going to want to play the song. It's in a half step down tuning. So take the whole strings and just tune them all down to sharps, which is half a step. It's only 2 different parts, and each part has 4 chords. And it's going to be, so when you start, it's going to be a regular E chord. And then you're going to play an A chord, but you're not going to play your ring finger on that 5th string or the B string. So it's just going to be that. So it's an A like that. Then you're going to play this like bar chord. So you're going to have your pointer finger on the 2nd fret of the high E. You're going to have your ring finger and pinky finger on the 4th fret of the A and the D, and you're going to have your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the G. And you're going to play the bottom 2 notes too, so it's an open sound. So you do that, and then you just slide it up 3 frets. So you hold that same position, and you slide it up to here. So that's the first part, and if you play it, the pattern is like. And when you play it at full speed, it's. You play that 3 more times, And then the other part of, which is like for the pre-chorus and stuff, you're gonna play another form of it's like a bar chord. You're gonna have the same position like you were holding up here. You're gonna move it down a string on each finger, and then you're not gonna play with your middle finger this time. So it's gonna be your pointer finger on the 7th fret of the A, and then your ring and pinkies on the 9th fret of the D and the G, and you play it all open. And while you're doing that, you're playing that in the same pattern too. So you play that once, and then only thing you change is you move your pointer finger down 1 fret to the 8th, or I'm sorry, excuse me, the 6th, and then you move that down, so it's. You go back to the original position, where you hold it like that, this position, and then you just bring it down to 2 more frets, so where it's on the 4th. And then slide it down 1 more time to where your pointer's on the 2nd fret. So you play that twice, and then the only thing you can change at the end if you want to add a little more flavor to it is you can bar the last 2 strings with your pinky. So let me play that for you, show you what it sounds like. So that's really the only adjustment you would make. All right, so once you have all that, you play it all together, and it sounds like this. All right, that's basically how you play a Swiss Army Romance by Dashboard Confessional. Thank you guys very much for watching. We'll see you next week.
Coming back after 2 years with no new album, The Darkness released Easter Is Cancelled on October 4th. Known for their 2003 smash hit, I Believe in a Thing Called Love, this album has proven to be a huge controversy already due to its concept of what would have happened if Jesus did not die. Singer Justin Hawkins said, "There's a whole realm of possibilities, just in that one reality. So it's an intimate and wonderful thing to explore." Despite the controversy surrounding the album, the band stands by it and says that there's nothing blasphemous about the album because it's not meant to be taken in vain. Songs on this album include Rock and Roll Needs to Die and We Are the Guitar Men. The latter of the two is described by Hawkins as the big hit of the record. Easter Is Cancelled can be found on iTunes and Spotify now.
Hey music nerds, there's a new release for alt-rock legends Wilco. Wilco released their newest album, Ode to Joy, this past Friday, October 4th, and it really feels like the group is trying to rediscover themselves with this record, trading their electric guitars and active rhythms for acoustics and some more stripped-down instrumentation. The album succeeds in delivering a unique endeavor for the seasoned group. Most casual listeners of alt-rock might know them from their landmark 2002 record, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, which has since transcended and become something of an alt-pilgrimage for newcomers. The new album boils down to the group's sound and its most basic components that allow singer-songwriter Jeff Tweedy to foray into the stories describing the new perils of emotional isolation brought by the information era. However, Tweedy's quirky lyrics keep the tracks from becoming too dreary. In essence, Ode to Joy breaks down Wilco's sound into the very core of alt-rock and folk, foreboding noise and the truth. Check it out, dudes.
It's a really good time for music when new artists release something that you can highly recommend to people. And I know for a fact that I'm going to recommend both Wilco's Ode to Joy and the new album, The Darkness, Easter Is Cancelled.
Wait, Easter's canceled?
What? No, it's an album by the...
But what about the Easter egg hunts and all the candy and the Cadbury cream eggs? Why would they cancel so early? It's only October.
Listen, I'll explain everything after the shot, all right? Okay. But while I do that, make sure you all stick around for Rocker's Review.
What's going on, rockers? We're back with another Rocker Reviews. I'm Steven Smartnick.
And I'm Gage Terrace.
We're reviewing You Know What I'm Saying by Danny Brown today. It's his 4th studio album after releasing his magnum opus XXX on Fool's Gold Records. And in my opinion, it's his coming of age album, if you know anything about the background of Danny Brown.
Absolutely. That's what I would say. I think especially in the lyrics that he's giving us, it really feels like it's his story. Like he's really telling us, like especially on tracks like Best Life, it feels like it's his coming of age story where he's telling you where he was and where he's at now. And it's really representative of, you know, how he's changed over the years.
Oh, definitely. Especially like whenever you get back into like his backstory, especially because knowing he only broke big in the rap scene with his album 30, which is titled that because he didn't actually break big in the rap scene until he was 30 after probably grinding for like 10 years in Detroit. So with 30, he came out with that. Then he released Old, and he actually said that was his party banger album, as he described it. The first half of it definitely stuck to more of his darker, more experimental side of it. And then the last half he made just so he could have festival music. And then he released Atrocity Exhibition, which was just an industrial like heap of darkness is the way to describe it, because he was inspired actually for that album off of Joy Division's Atrocity Exhibition.
Oh, for real?
So like, you know how dark of a band that Joy
yeah.
Division is, he brought that into his music. But it seems with this 4th album, You Know What I'm Saying, he's actually just coming across as a soulful, like more mature Danny Brown, especially after getting his big gap in his teeth fixed that everyone just used to love Danny Brown for so much, and finally cutting his hair and everything. He just looks so much more mature too.
He looks completely different. Like, I gotta tell you, like the first Danny Brown song that I ever heard was from Atrocity Exhibition. And I heard it and I just, it really kind of shocked me. Like just because of, you're right, like how dark it is and how like complicated the beat was. Like it just felt like it was something completely different, a new beast from what I've been used to hearing.
Oh, and one of the things that I love about like the new album is Danny Brown has such like a distinct voice in his music, which you either hate it or you love it. But personally, I love it because on the old albums, he used to sound like he was jumping out of the track, but now with Q-Tip as the producer on this album, I feel like the production went in a different route, especially because he was paying homage to like all of the older guys like Wu-Tang, the Tribe Called Quest, and all of his old idols. He decided to actually put his voice back into the track, and it's just something that flows together way better than say like him jumping out of the track on his industrial music from the past.
Absolutely, I would definitely say that. Like anything, like even if you just hear Best Life or like some of the other singles that were released beforehand, you can clearly tell that he's definitely reaching back to like the old school. And you know, we were talking earlier, and I definitely still think that like it feels like the natural evolution of those old 90s rap bands. It feels like the beats are more complicated, there's much more nuance to it, and the lyrics are a lot more like personal and they're funny too. Like Danny Brown is a funny guy. Some of the features, all the features on that album were like, they were fantastic.
Oh, definitely. I remember Run the Jewels specifically had one of the standouts. Yes, off of 3 Tiers. That was just great because Run the Jewels is usually a rap collective that you hear and they are just non-stop going in over like really experimental beats just like Danny Brown did. But since Danny Brown toned it back, you actually get like the most toned back to the Run the Jewels like I think I've ever heard before.
Absolutely. Well, that's all the time we have for. Overall, what would you give it out of 10?
I would give it at least an 8.5. And that's saying like it's probably one of his best albums. It's worth a listen.
I'd give it like a 9. It was excellent, so you should definitely listen to it back home. All right, well, that's all the time we have for, so we'll see you next time, rockers.
We have some worrisome news for all you Hanson fans out there. Drummer Zach Hanson has been involved in a motorcycle accident in Oklahoma this past week while he was about to embark on his ride across the country. Luckily, Hanson was able to walk away from the accident with only a broken collarbone, several broken ribs, and a cracked scapula. Until he's fully recovered, a good friend of the band's, Dash Hutton, will be able to take his place as the drummer on the tour. But Hanson will continue to sing. Not sure who Hanson is? Three brothers formed the band in the 90s, and they're most notably known for their classic pop hit song, Bob, which was released in 1997. Never heard of it? Listen and tell us what you think of it on Twitter at IRBTV with the hashtag Music News.
It looks like yet another world record was recently broken by the legendary band The Beatles because of a new album released by the band in honor of their 50-year anniversary of the iconic album Abbey Road. If you're not aware, the Beatles released the album Abbey Road in 1969. Now, almost 50 years later, the Beatles have released the amazing 50th anniversary deluxe edition of the album. The album has returned to the top of the UK album charts after a record-breaking 49 years and 252 days off the charts. Because of this, the Beatles have now been recognized for a Guinness World Record for the longest period of time for an album to return to a #1 spot in the United Kingdom. This album has not been in that spot since its initial 17-week run that ended on January 31st, 1970. In addition to this, the Beatles continue to hold the record as the act with the most #1s in history on the Billboard 200 charts. Wow, I didn't even know that Zach Hanson was in such a horrible accident. I really hope he recovers soon.
Yeah, for real. But on a lighter note, the fact that the Beatles broke another world record for the Abbey Road album 50 years later is really something.
True. The fact they haven't been together for all these years and yet they're still breaking records just really shows how talented they are. If only Yoko Ono didn't break them up and all of a sudden John Lennon just starts going up and being like,
well,
I'm not
anyways,
going to be part of the Beatles
while Liam
anymore.
goes on
And then
this
Paul
rant,
McCartney's
stay
like,
tuned
wait,
for
what are
Check
you
This
doing?
Out.
And then
He
John just
should
literally
be
quits the
done before
Beatles
we
and
get
then
back.
he starts doing solo albums and it wasn't that good.
Welcome back, rockers. Today we have a special treat for you. We have seasoned veteran Brandon Peters on for another round of Check This Out. So, without further ado, let's check it out.
This first song is called I Just Wanna Love You. It's so hard to be your friend and at the same time be so much more. You told me to come right in, but to leave my heart at the door. You said you wanted to be mine, but to stand back if you changed your mind. And we agreed we had all the time in the world. That's a lie, that's a lie. You're holding me under, you're pulling away. I just want to hold you, I want you to stay. So please just come closer, and then you could see. I just want to love you, and I want you to love me. It's okay, don't cry for me, as long as you are happy. You can take all the time you need to think about everything. But all this hanging on the edge might leave me all torn apart. And I don't want this to end, leaving me with a broken heart, broken heart. You're you're pulling away. I just want to hold you. I want you to stay. So please just come closer, and then you could see. I just want to love you, and I want you to love, 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 love me. I just don't want this to end, leaving me with broken heart.
As the cool wind begins to blow and the rains begin to fall, I think that we're all put into an autumnal mood. So I think Brendan Peters here has brought that to us with his acoustic sad boy music, and I think it was only appropriate for the season. So Brendan, you are a seasoned veteran of IRB, and I wanted to ask you, how would you rank that performance among all of your performances here?
I don't know. Probably, I mean, it was just different, you know? I don't think it was like better or worse, you know, because when I play something, I try to like, you know, give it my all or whatever, and just like whatever comes out, comes out. But yeah, it was just different because last time I played with an electric guitar with some like effects and stuff, and I played a lot of like newer music that I've written. But this time I decided to go just acoustic and play a bunch of old sad boy tunes I wrote in high school.
Absolutely. So you think your mood really determines like how you play? Like you think your current state of mind is reflected by?
I think so, maybe. I guess it depends. Maybe, like, my mood will definitely affect when I'm, like, writing music, but there's something about, like, when you write a song and then you play it later, it sort of takes you back to that place, like, and what you were feeling when you wrote that song, which I think is really interesting because it's sort of like a time machine effect.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. It's like whenever you like smell a specific smell and you're like brought back to like the Scholastic Book Fair of 2005 in third grade. But no, I get it. I think that's auditory. Like you, whenever you hear a song that you haven't heard for a while, it really brings you back. And I can imagine for you, like performing a song that you haven't performed in a while really brings you back.
This one's called Haikus. Will you sing to me? I'm growing so tired of consoling myself. Can you just tell me everything will be alright, even if it won't? Will you stay with me? Just until I fall asleep, so I can forget forget what it's like when I cry myself to sleep every single night. Someone convince me we all deserve to be loved before I give up. Someone convince me we all deserve to be loved before I give up.
So, you know, I think earlier we were discussing about like some things that you've been a part of. So like, what are some bands or like groups that you've been a part of?
Oh, okay. Well, in high school, I was in a garage band.
Oh yeah?
And we would get together and learn like 90s tunes, and we were all angsty and stuff. It was great. That was fun. And I've been I write a bunch of my own music, and I try to record as much of like the instrumentation as I can. But I played in the jazz ensemble. I'm currently doing playing gigs at like a church for like the church service.
I mean, you were playing an electric, you said, last time you were here. So I mean, obviously you said that you kind of like to mess around with both, but like, what kind of things do you like to do with the electric guitar?
So I like to do I like to play a lot of stuff with like effects. So if I need like a delay effect, or if the song has like a certain like weird spacey sound, it'll be more useful for that.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
No, there's lots of fun things you can do with that. And so we appreciate your time.
Yeah,
we
thanks,
appreciate
man.
you coming on. You had an amazing performance
Thank you
and
so much.
a wonderful interview. It's always lovely talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
Mr. Peters. So again, if you're interested in finding anything that he's done, you can check it out on SoundCloud or his YouTube at Brandon Peters. So have a nice day.
Wow, what a phenomenal performance. Thank you, Brandon, for coming to play some awesome music for us today.
And for having our fourth show this season end on such a good note.
I swear, you didn't just say that, did you? Okay, Liam, I'm done. Listen, the Frank Ocean thing was one thing. That's it, I'm heading out. Because, no, I gotta tell you this, because I've been here for 2 long years now. And what you gotta realize is that I'm here to do my job correctly. This isn't a joke. You think this is a joke, Liam? That's it, I'm heading out. That's it. I'm going to press start. Goodbye.
Well, make sure to tune in next week, and don't forget to follow us on social media at IRB-TV or at Indie Rockers Ball. And make sure to check out our YouTube page and smash that like button and subscribe for more updates. See you next week, Rockers. Hopefully he comes back.